Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Crystal Vision Therapy. Of course, I'm your host, Deisha Robinson. And today I really wanted to get into a case that was really popular. It was the case of, his name is Darrell Brooks. He was unfortunately made famous because he plowed his SUV into a Waukesha, Wisconsin parade, killing, I think, about 7 people, injuring countless others. And the reason why this case is kind of very mainstream is because of his antics. He has gone on with some of his antics. Along with his antics, he decided to represent himself, and it has been honestly a shit show. That's the best way to describe it from here on out. I don't actually want to focus on him. I don't want to focus on him. I feel like there's been so much, thought pieces out on him. You can definitely Google and find something else if you kind of want to get into his psychology of why he is the way he is. I mean, he's definitely, you can tell that he struggles. He's mentally ill. His mom came out and said that she struggled with him for many years and getting him help and getting appropriate treatment. I truly want to focus on a woman named Erika Patterson. So who is Erika Patterson? So Erika Patterson is actually one of his baby's mothers. So the story goes, she actually met him when she was 15. I believe he was much older. He was in his mid-20s. They had a child together when she was young. He went to jail for that because, of course, that's statutory rape. And I was really struck by her because you can tell that this is a woman that has been abused, 100% abused by Darrell Brooks, probably other people. And she got an opportunity to do what a lot of people don't get to do, right? Which is to actually really stand in her truth and challenge Darrell Brooks. Because he decided to represent himself, she was a key witness actually because in this case, because apparently as the story goes, they got into an argument before he decided to ram his SUV into the crowd. So she was really, her testimony was key. And she was able to tell her truth, and she was cross-examined by him. And as awful as that is, to have to really answer questions that your abuser is posing and is trying to make you look like a bad person or whatever he was trying to do. I felt like it was probably so freeing to just be able to tell the truth and not be challenged, not be gaslit, right? And it was nice that it was a safe environment because he can only do but so much. So I kind of wanted to show you a little bit of who she is, right? Like, get a feel for her. And then I wanted to show you her testimony to show you kind of how she takes her power back. And I really want to highlight her today. So guys, this is the Norman Nick show. Let me get myself right. I kind of want to, yeah, see me. I'll go here. This is the Norman Nick show. So this is just so you can see her kind of off the cuff and kind of she talks a little bit more about her life and kind of get more information on her.
You just called me and you said you had good news. What's the good news that you wanted to tell? You said something about somebody testifying or you don't have to go to the trial? No.
They wanted me to go tomorrow to his sentencing. Video of this, or what he did to me. It's a video. It got recorded. He punched me again. I went through.
Then there's no way that you're going to be able to get past to ask us to donate to her or whatever. And
that's not what I was doing. I was in shelter the whole time. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know.
Yeah. Well, again, people don't understand about abuse and toxicity and a cycle. And we don't know if you're what spectrum you're on as far as dealing with any PTSD or Stockholm syndrome or anything like that. And I'm no psychiatrist either, but I did go to college and I know a little bit about nothing, but I do know that when you have a traumatic event, there's no way that you're going to be able to get past it with time without counseling, because there's no amount of drugs or friends that are going to be able to give you advice. Yeah, exactly.
It's not that easy. The shelter, they tried to get me a therapist, which they did, but she moved out of town back to Texas, and they tried to help me. It's not that people are sitting here making this thought about me, but they don't know how it is to have to go back to an abuser. It's like you never know. You don't have an answer on why you kept going back, you know? And it's like people are making this judgment about me, and it's like they don't understand what I was going through. Nobody does. You know, so it's a lot. It's a lot.
And that's what, and I think that's what makes this special, not only about the intimacy of Darrell and the victimization that he left behind, not just for the victims in the parade, but his own family as well. You know what I mean? Because this has a ripple effect. You know what I mean? Because that's why I was saying,
it's like his mom.
The only way
and everybody sticks up for him. Sorry, Mr. Norman. They stick up for him. But I'm the one that has a gash on my face, a broken finger still. My leg is still messed up. I have all these marks on me still from him. And it's like everybody's sticking up for him. Nobody understands what I fucking went through.
Gotcha.
They don't understand it.
So that was another question that was on here since you brought up your leg. So when your leg, I'm going off memory because I didn't record our conversation. But the other day when you called me and we talked for 20 minutes or whatever, you mentioned something about a broken leg. Now, did Darrell break your leg before the parade?
He ran me over November 2nd. Yes, he did. I had the night before. I was working at Hotel Metro. I had got off of work. I went to go get me a room. I didn't want to go back to him because he's freaking crazy. Is what happened. So I got me a room all night. He was talking shit, calling me, talking shit, blah blah blah. Okay, and then the next day when it's almost checkout, because Darrell, I gave him the address. Like I said, you never know why you would, I gave him the address to the hotel. I forgot what hotel it was. It was on Appleton in Milwaukee. He came there and knocked on the freaking door, took my phone, punched me in my face. I ran down the street. He kept following me. And then we went to the gas station, the BP gas station. They have a video of this, of what he did to me. It's a video. It got recorded. He punched me again. I was bleeding everywhere. I still have the backpack and the damn shoes that he ran me over in. And after he punched me, I walked away. I would never expect him to run me over. I walked away and he ran me the fuck over. Two people in the parking lot called the police.
Before I know you're on a roll, and I'm sorry to interrupt. I know my audience is going to be like, "Shut the fuck up, Norman. Let her talk." When he ran you over, was it like, let's say, you're standing at the gas station, you know what I mean? And he's the car. Like, did he run you over like at the parade where the car?
Yeah, can we talk about how crazy it is that he ran her over? So like it's like the level of abuse is different. Skip, y'all. I just wanted to give you guys a little taste about what's going on.
Well, let's move on to the next question. As far as getting employed, are you currently looking for employment, or how's that working out?
I am. I lost my driver's license, which since I've been out here, I've had my Georgia driver's license. But I lost that 2 weeks ago, downtown Milwaukee at the damn bowling alley or whatever. So it's like, I don't have that. Darrell ripped up my social security card and my damn birth certificate, everything else. It's like, I don't know what to do. I have proof in my phone, my Google Photos. I do. But I don't have the proof.
So with that being said, you don't have to go any.
So I skip ahead to that part just to show how she would try to kind of better herself, get a job. He's ripping up her stuff. So she can't get from under him, can't get from under his control. So very, very abusive relationship. And so I just wanted to give you a little bit of what she went through so that when you see some of the testimony um that she gave, you're like, wow, like for her to be able to do that, it's such bravery.
It's my blessing.
I was to the judge.
I
I think I kind of got a little ahead of.
Ms. Brooks, just, I'll let you interrupt the answer and you can ask a follow-up. I apologize. I was instructing the clerk to turn up the volume. So go ahead, ask your question.
Same question.
Sure.
The antics. The antics.
What were you doing the evening of November 21st, 2021, before linking up with the alleged defendant?
Being with my roommate at the time at Frame Park.
And what were you and your roommate doing?
You covered this ground during her testimony previously.
Objection and grounds for, I object to that and grounds for the objection on behalf of the state.
Ms. Brooks, we did cover many of these topics previously, so if there's new topics, please go to those. I'll give you a little bit of leeway to lay some foundation, but go ahead, ask your question.
That's with
The
the
objection is from the state is overruled. You remember the question?
You asked me what was I doing at the park party? Is that your question?
yes.
We were drinking. I was drinking my hard beverage.
Do you recall around what time of the evening it was when you and your roommate arrived at the park?
I do not remember. We left where we were staying around afternoon. A little bit around afternoon.
Do you recall having any phone interactions during that time when you and your roommate were at the park?
Phone interaction, yes.
Do you recall who they were with?
You,
What do you mean by you?
Darrell Brooks.
Would it be fair to say that at some point during the meetup with the alleged defendant, things got a little chaotic? That'd be fair to say?
Yes.
And do you recall if at that point you were still at the park?
When we met up,
Yes.
well, we were at the park for a second, then we drove around.
Where did you drive to?
Around, then me and you, Mr. Brooks were arguing. We went up this it's a street, it's like a hill, went up there. And then me and you got into an altercation, we got out of the car. Walked back towards Frame Park.
Oh, wait, again.
Hold on, she's answering your question.
Mhm.
You asked her where you drove around. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. And then I was walking down the street when I left your car. So you followed me and I walked back towards Frame Park. You were following me.
Made reference to you calling your friends.
Mhm.
Do you recall? Well, let me back up a little bit. Did you call your friend Corey or the friend that she had left you to hang out with?
Corey's phone, I kept calling her phone kept going to voicemail, and I called Nick's phone. He put Corey on the phone. I said, Darrell Brooks had just hit me.
I want to back up a little bit, if I may, to the day prior, November 20th, of 2021. Do you recall what you were doing that day?
Where I was staying at the shelter at first, I was arguing still with Mr. Brooks all throughout the day. Me and Corey had left, and Corey and I stepped away, and I went back to Crane Park. No, Crane Park is where I met you at. Me and you also got into argument that day, but we didn't drive around. We're at the Crane Park.
So you're saying that you and the alleged defendant were together the day of November 20th, 2021?
Yeah,
Do you recall around what time that was?
I do not remember.
And you stated you were briefly with your friend Corey that day?
Yeah, but she went a whole different direction. She didn't come to Crane Park with me. She turned on a whole different street right before Crane Park.
Do you recall at any time on November 21st of 2021 being interviewed by a Detective Guth?
Yep.
And do you recall giving a recorded report at that time?
I don't remember.
Do you recall if you had given Detective Guth all the details of the alleged incident on November 20th of 2021?
I didn't give him all the details, but I did the next day when I seen him.
Reported there was in fact no incident on November 20th, 2021?
That's not true.
Objection, move to strike the answer and the question.
Grounds.
Lack of personal knowledge, hearsay.
Sustained. We'll strike the question and the answer. The reason stated, sir, rephrase, or
So can I show the witness the same paperwork that I intended to show?
no,
And why not?
not relevant.
How's it not relevant when that was just testified to?
So as you see, he's about to go into his antics, but what I love about this is a controlled environment, right? So typically what happens, right, in abusive situations, you know, your abuser likes when you're alone, right? So you can be gaslit, you can be overpowered, and they can say, no, this didn't happen. So he's attempting to say, like, she's saying, hey, we got into another altercation the day before, you hit me. He's trying to say, oh, you told the officer that there was no altercation. The prosecution comes back with an objection, and he cannot change the narrative. And I think that's something that happens in abusive relationships, where you try to say what happened to you, you're gaslit, you're hit, right? So your narrative can never stand. What happened to you can never stand. Your truth can never truly stand. So in this environment with support, he can't overtalk her, he can't overtake the situation, and he has to stick to the facts of the case. So let's hear more.
Wouldn't that be opening the door?
No. Next question.
He has to move on.
Speaking to Detective Guth during the first interview, do you recall why you were not forthright with information?
It wasn't that I was not forthright, I just didn't tell him everything right away.
Why not?
I don't know, Mr. Brooks.
In the alleged incident on November 20th of 2021, were you injured?
No. Well, you did hit me a little, like a little.
Were you injured?
No, I didn't have any marks on me. Is that what you're asking?
So where were you injured?
By my lip?
Objection, states the evidence.
Grounds.
I believe the witness understood the question, she answered it. It may stand.
Did your roommate observe any injuries from the alleged incident on November 20th, 2021?
she knew about it, but there's nothing visible on my face.
So you see here, right? Did I hit you? Did I? You didn't have no marks on you. You didn't have no marks on you. What do you mean? Did your friend see it? Did anyone else see marks on you? Right? So in a different environment, that can be very overpowering. So he's trying, but it's just not. There's too many people. There's too many people to witness what's happening here.
So it would be fair to say that you have a child in common with the alleged defendant. Would that be fair to say?
Yes,
Yeah. Is that the only child in common?
yes.
You have any other children?
Objection.
Grounds?
Nothing to do with the case. Sorry.
Hold on, there's been an objection, not relevant. Sustained,
Grounds for the sustain?
the record speaks for itself. Next question,
What was the record speaking for itself? I didn't hear it.
not relevant.
How is it not relevant?
Next question, please.
How is it not relevant? The child that you have in common with the alleged defendant. How old is that child?
15,
Do you keep regular contact with that child?
off and on.
Describe what you mean by off and on.
I'll object.
Grounds.
This is not relevant.
Not relevant, sustained.
Grounds.
Not relevant, sir.
So this is nasty work, right? Because now he's getting into, well, you know, we have a daughter. Do you have your child? Kind of like, you know, do you speak to your kid, right? Really trying to come for her character, using the child that they share together. And as you can see, rightfully so, she's getting uncomfortable because she doesn't have custody of her daughter. So I believe she doesn't have custody of her daughter. So it really, you know, all throughout this testimony, taking shots at her value, right? Like taking shots at her character, her value. And kind of like you kind of put this on yourself, and what you said happened didn't truly happen, right? So this is clearly what he's trying to really, really push through. But like I said before, he can't, right? The judge is there, the prosecution is there, and they're just not allowing it to go down a path that mischaracterizes her, which probably happens behind closed doors all of the time.
Or to the,
Come on, man.
Mr. Brooks,
Come on, man. Stop.
when you
Stop
aren't
Stop
even
it.
letting
You're a
me
public
ask a
servant, Your Honor.
question.
I respect your courtroom. I
You
respect you. You're a public servant, though. Your job is to be the referee. Is it or is it not? You stated so yourself on record that your job is being the umpire.
Your Honor, can I ask Ms. Patterson to be excused?
Yes, you can be excused. My apologies.
My apologies too, but it needs to be some truth. Especially when we're talking about stuff that didn't even happen, but they're allowed to get on the stand and say that it happened when they know it didn't happen.
So I'm gonna make a record about what
This
he's
is
referring
ridiculous,
to in
man.
counsel. Okay, ask your question.
Do you remember speaking with that detective?
Yes,
Do
and then you drove off.
Do you remember what you reported on November the 21st?
That me and Mr. Brooks, I met with Mr. Brooks at Frame Park. Me and Mr. Brooks got into an altercation. You hit me. I jumped out of your car and I walked and met my friend Corey. You followed me. And then after that, Nick and Miss Corey, they called the police officers. And then you drove off.
Just 1 second, Your Honor. Sorry.
I don't have it in front of me, I'm not sure.
She was not completely forthright with all of the information she had given. Would that be fair to say?
What was your question?
Do you recall in your reporting to Officer Guth
Mhm.
that you were not forthright with the information that you gave?
No, I don't recall that.
Do you remember where you were at?
I met up with Mr. Brooks intentionally on the 20th. Yes.
You've been over this multiple times. It's been asked, it's been answered.
So why would you meet up with the alleged defendant that day?
Because I just wanted to. We have a 15-year-old together. I mean, I was always going to talk to you then.
Do you remember if there was any agreed upon meeting up that day
Yes,
by you?
weeks. And I never went back.
Can you state why you never went back?
Number one, I came out here, I didn't have money. Number two, I had no way to get back. And you were always, Mr. Brooks was always physical.
So at any time were you ever offered money to go back to Georgia, or did anybody at any time ever?
No,
Did anybody at any time ever lend any help to help you go back to Georgia?
no.
Did you, to the best of your recollection, did you want to go back to Georgia?
Objection.
Sustained. Next question, please.
So I just wanted to give you guys a taste of what's kind of what that testimony looked like, because it was just so powerful. And I wish that every kind of victim, right? Every survivor, right? And I know that's the word, she's definitely a survivor, gets their day in court and gets to directly tell their truth, right? Without being hit, without being shunned, without being, gaslit. He was trying really hard. But it couldn't land. It couldn't land because of the support of course, the prosecution, also the judge, right? Making sure that he is staying relevant to the case, because she is not on trial, right? It's him. So I appreciate this so much. I'm so sorry that she had to go through that. But I hope she knows how I'm sure she inspired someone to stand up. And it may be something small, because it sounds like it's been years since she was 15. She's 32 now. But I really hope that that's the building that she starts building and starts healing, because he was sentenced to several life sentences, so she doesn't necessarily have to worry about him again. That's our video today on Miss Patterson. I just wanted to highlight her just for her incredible strength and bravery. All right, guys. Till next time.